All right, looks like the stream is up, and let's just check and see that the audio looks right. It does. All right, I'm just looking at the gain control here. So this is an impromptu one. Good morning, everybody. My name is Rich Charpentier, and I'm the host of this channel here. And if you don't know by now, we do a lot of drone talk and talking about building your small drone business and building my small drone business. So I did my regular live stream on Monday and had said, hey, there's probably not going to be much flying or anything going on this week. And of course, the universe heard me and it sent me a client on Monday. I got a phone call Monday afternoon from a gentleman. And so this is the interesting part here. So I got a call Monday afternoon from a gentleman who's looking at buying a property here in Prescott. He already lives in Prescott, but he's now decided that he wants to build a new home. He'd like to move his mother out here, his elderly mother, and wants to make a home that would be good for both of them. So he's been looking around town and looking at different lots, and he had a specific location in mind. So he told me where the location was. I took a look. Further away from the TFR right now, the temporary flight restriction area. So, I looked into it and I said, okay, yeah, we could do this. We could do an early morning flight, meet up there to get an idea of the property you're looking at and see if I needed to do more planning or if we could do the flight. Well, going out yesterday morning, we went out super early. So it wasn't too hot, so I wasn't worried about any equipment issues with the heat. And, we were outside of that temporary flight restriction for the fire. I think they've got that fire to the south of Prescott under control from the last thing that I read, but the TFR is still in place. So, hey, go with it. And wow, I can't believe several people have popped up with this impromptu live stream. So, too funny. Good morning, CJ. How you doing? Good to see you. So we took a ride out yesterday morning. Jody came along. She's my visual observer. We met the gentleman, and what was really unique and strange to me was, I had a property buyer getting in touch with me. So not a realtor who's trying to sell one of these lots, but instead a potential buyer reached out because they wanted a better visualization of the property because he's going to see his mom this week to propose the idea of building the new home. So he wanted her to get a real look at, the Prescott area and where these lots were located. So good to hear, CJ. Glad you're doing great. All right. So yeah, by the way, if I bounce over to the right-hand side, it's just me checking the live chat. So there you go. So anyways, I did a little looking up and researching before going out to meet with this gentleman. And there are multiple lots for sale in this area. So there's multiple build sites in the area. And this is one of the lots. So he was looking at 64, but I just pulled up 63 real quick. Because I can see why a property buyer reached out to me for these particular lots. The images aren't super compelling. So I'm just going to arrow through here. So there's Granite Mountain in the background, and that is in the proximity of these lots that are for sale. There's multiple lots, but this doesn't show you too much, does it? There is a little ravine down here, so the build area is sloped, but so this is giving you an idea. So as a potential buyer, and oh my God, I didn't do anything to this image. Good morning, Jack. How are you doing today? So yeah, by the way, it's 8:45 a.m. here. So I was sitting here working and doing some work, and I decided while I was doing the work, I'd pull up the live stream, and you could follow along with what I did for this client yesterday. But what a terrible photo! I don't even know which of the ranges that is. Maybe that's Mingus Mountain. I don't know, but that's awful. Oh, and it's up there for a second time. And then here we are back to that the view with Granite Mountain there. So yeah, this potential property buyer contacted me because he wanted something, with a little more value to share with his mom with this idea of building a new home for them. So, and this is actually an okay shot. So this isn't us. This is what's up on Realtor.com. But I think you're getting the idea. It's, having a hard time representing this. a couple of the other lots, I actually had looked up some of the other lots here, and the images were even worse or non-existent. So let's go over to Trulia here. I'm just taking you through real quick. So there we go, lot 64, and that's the lot that he was interested in. This photo over here on the right next to the save and share, that is definitely not an image from that lot. I was out there long enough yesterday to tell you that's another photo in the area toward Granite Mountain, but that's not even taken from that lot. So, you know, and they say they've got 14 images here. So he wanted to be able to show her something more robust. Let's say it that way. Yeah, so, I mean, Granite Mountain is there. I don't know that that's the exact view. And then we've got another bad mountain off in the distance. Maybe it's Mingus Mountain. So we met up with him, and I'm continuously using custom web pages now for clients, even the smaller ones, just for presentations for them, because this particular gentleman was not super tech savvy, and he wanted to know, you know, the best way to show the quick video for his mom of the area. So we did a little video flight for him. And then while I was there, I said to myself, I want to go ahead and I'm going to do 2 little 360s as well. So we'll take a look at that in a minute. But, you know, the drone was 30 feet above ground level. So I'm going to pause this right here and let's just pull that back. So this is a development area. So Granite Mountain home sites, lots and homes. So they've got the green areas where the new lots are for sale. And so we just got that. That's just terrestrial photo. But then we did a little bit of video. So we're looking at lots 64 and 65. The gentleman was interested in lot 64. Lot 65, you start getting into some granite protruding there. And I don't know why it always resets itself to 720 instead of just going right to 1080. So as I said, we had the potential property buyer there with us. So we're showing the whole area. Basically near that tree is one of the boundaries. You'll notice I don't put any, oh, sure thing. Hold on one sec. Sorry about that, CJ. Let me rewind it here. There we go. And we'll pop this up. And still not, it doesn't look like it's doing the HD. So we're looking at 2 lots plus the newly built on house lot up here. So this was getting closer in, and you can see in here, and this is a little weird and blurry. I'm not sure what's going on there. But we've got granite outcroppings in here, and this is the lot 65. So there'd be some extra work with that granite in there. And then closer to us is the 64. I don't put up red lot lines or anything. I'm not a licensed survey engineer, and never going to be a licensed survey engineer. I'm just minimizing that down. I don't, maybe it's because I'm also live streaming. Yeah, sorry about that, CJ. It's being a little strange with the display, and I noted this yesterday too, and I had to reset it to HD a couple times. But so this is giving you an idea of the 64, and like I was saying, I don't put lot lines down. I've had realtors ask me about that, and I'm not defining property boundaries. You can see that on the tax parcel maps if you need to, but you know, to have accurate property boundaries, you need a survey engineer. That's the deal. We've all heard about this, and I know that other drone pilots do it. I'm just, you know, I'm not opening myself up for any issues for the business. So I always let realtors know, you know, we can shoot from the boundaries, shoot into the property, highlight, you know, the important areas, and but we're not drawing those lines, period. But this flight here, we're well over lot 64, and I know that because we're standing right there, and those are some of the utility boxes right there, and those boxes seem to be split for lots 64 and 65. So yeah, we captured some of the video for him. I'm gonna bring this back down because that's just being really strange on the display. Yeah, sorry about that, CJ. It's really odd. I gotta look at that twice now with some new uploads that I've done. Things keep getting set to 720 when I've exported them in 1080, so I'm not sure what's happening with YouTube. I've seen a couple of weird things there. So anyways, we got the drone coming up to us, and that truck moving into frame is actually the person interested in buying the property. he was driving up the hill to go talk to one of the contractors who's doing a build. He said, "Oh, the contractor's there. I gotta go talk to him real quick." And we were also doing our social distancing and everything, so we always practice that. And then so here's the flight back out along 64. You can see that there's a real drop off there, so there is a ravine there. So you know where the runoff's going to go during monsoon season, and you get a pretty good idea of where you're probably going to want to do the home build. And then this part right here, so this is actually, I was flying slightly over 63, so we've got 64 and 65 out there. And there are a couple others up and over the hill, but the prices go up. Let me close this one. By the way, so these lots, lot 64, 136,900. Prescott's building industry is booming right now. I've mentioned that here before. So it's a very busy market, and a lot of the property prices are going up. As you can see, it's saying that it was 134.9, now it's 136.9. And so a pretty decent commission probably for a realtor on a raw land site. And they didn't, the images that I looked through for lots of these lots, several of the lots only had one single image. It was just a photo off into the distance of a mountain. And some of the other lots had, more, but also some items that weren't really representative of the location. So that's why a buyer got in touch with me. So instead of a realtor getting in touch with me, watching from Argentina. All right, very cool. Thanks for stopping in. So I guess this gentleman had looked at some of the lots and looked at them online and driven to the lots, and he told me he lives nearby. He's not that big of a drive, so he's just looking for building a new home so that he could move his mom in and help take care of her. So that was a really nice thing on his part too, I thought. And I also put little directions in here on the webpage just to tell people to make sure that they're on the 1080 quality, because I've been having that weirdness with YouTube. So who knows why YouTube's doing that. As an extra, since we were there, he didn't want any still photos. He just wanted a little video to give his mom a flavor for the location. But while I was there and I had battery power, I said, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and we'll do a couple of 360s with the Mavic 2 Pro as well. So the drone right now is toward the eastern side of lot 64. But this gives you a really good idea. So there's Granite Mountain up there. There's that tree over there. So you're not going to have this bird's eye view. I'm 30 feet above ground. But I think that this really gives a nice feel. So there's a little ravine area. There's where the wash is going to be. And then some more elevated areas with some other lots over there. And getting the whole feel. So we were out there very early in the morning. So we got this washed outside here. Not something you can't control for if you're going out that early. When I do some of the raw land shots, I actually like to be later in the day to minimize the shadows. It's kind of the same thing as when you're doing 3D models with drones. You want to minimize those shadows, and noon would be the best time. But with the temperatures and everything, I didn't want my iPhone taking a nosedive in the heat, or the controller having a problem in the heat. So, and then the second one, I also labeled it. So when they point at it, they get the label 360 panoramic looking toward lots 64 and 65. And the drone was actually over lot 63 at this point. So very similar image, just pulled back a little bit. So we're hovering above lot 63, but then we've got 64 and 65 in here. And 66 is that house that you see in the distance. So someone already bought 66 and they've already built. So good for them. But so I thought that this would give him a better idea and a better feel. There's a little pull-off right there, so that's where the Nissan Titan is, and that's also where that sign for the lot for sale is, showing those multiple properties that are still open. But yeah, so kind of crazy that a home buyer would contact a drone pilot to give him a better view of the property. So I think I'm going to do some reaching out to some of the raw land realtors here in the next week or so, because if someone who wants to give them money would like a better view of the property, maybe that'd be a good selling point for me. Probably. And so, keep that in mind where you're doing your drone work. Don't just stick to the realtors who have homes for sale. Vacant lots and land and new build sites is a big business. I've got another friend who I've known since college. She's a realtor in the Naples, Florida area, and she specifically does vacant land and raw land build sites. She doesn't sell homes. She doesn't do anything else. Her entire business is built around these vacant lots that are ready to build. And she's an expert on wetlands as well, because that's a big issue in Florida, is, knowing if you're in wetlands or not and flooding possibilities. So that's one of her, that's part of her expertise in real estate. So, yep, very surprising to me that, a buyer actually got in touch. And he was very appreciative because he's actually going to see his mom this week. So he's going to be running this buyer. So now he's got a little bit of video to show her that property. And he's also got that nice 360 to really give a feel for everything that's around in that neighborhood. I think these lots were in the 2-acre range. So, yeah, and there was Granite Mountain in the background. So all right, that one is all set and done. And going back through some of these other ones, unit 68, that was one of the higher priced ones. I think that, 168, it's a premium site because it's definitely a little higher than the other one. So it's got a great view of Granite Mountain. But on this raw land site, the arrow buttons here don't go anywhere because there's only one photo on this particular one. And that photo is this blurred out thing that looks more like a pastel painting than an image. By the way, one of my really great friends is a known pastel artist, and he makes some beautiful pastel paintings, way nicer than what we're seeing on the screen here. But so, as a potential buyer, I don't really have anything to go on with this one. I have the price, I have the lot size, 1.74 acres, and I have a photo of some mountains somewhere, super blurry and pixelated. So that's not really selling me. So I can understand why my customer yesterday wanted us to come out and do that work for him. So there may be some more value in contacting these raw land realtors than I first thought. So that is going to be something I'll be working on as well. I'm going to minimize that, and we're going to go to one other thing here. So I just wanted to give everyone an update on channel. The Ground Station Pro 2 video training series is just about all set. I've been uploading everything here. I'm still missing my 3D modeling flight and one other waypoint flight. And I'm trying to make a decision if I put a placeholder into the class for those particular lectures, or if I just hold off on launching the class until I have those last 2 videos done. So let me know in the comments, how did I process the 360? CJ, with the Mavic 2 Pro drone, I used DJI Go 4. I was going to say Ground Station Pro. I used the DJI Go 4 app, and the DJI Go 4 app actually has a 360 mode. And so it captured all that, and it stitched it together for me. Now, I could have done it manually as well, or I could have used Litchi as well. But I found that the Go 4 app, which I'm not the biggest fan of, the Go 4 app does a good job with the 360s. It doesn't get the apex above you, but it does do a nice fill in above it. And most people are looking down at that ground level anyways. So I had the DJI Go 4 app do the shots for me. Got back to the office. I had to do some minor editing in Lightroom. I felt that the images were leaning a little on the darker side. So I needed to punch that up just a little bit. So I increased the exposure a little. And then I just did a little additional work in Lightroom. And then finally, I am using Kuula. It's Kuula. Let me just pull that up here. So for displaying stuff, we settled on, we've actually signed up with Kuula. We're not just doing their free thing. So we're using them. There's also CloudPano out there. I might use them at some point. I also really like Theasys. There's a couple of things. Theasys, the images are not as clean. There's additional pixelation introduced. after a lot of testing, we've done a lot of testing in the past couple weeks. I would love to use Theasys because of its other features, but I don't like the edge pixelation that you get off of it. So I uploaded it to Kula. I'm just gonna go ahead and sign myself in here, and let's go to my tours. Like I said, we've been doing a lot of testing. So the stuff with the orange bars is hidden stuff that the rest of the world doesn't see unless I post it. And as you can see, we've also been doing some Theta SC2 testing. But there is that flight for that gentleman. And so I'm just pulling it up. I could add other things into it. One of the things that I really like, so we're doing a little sidebar here. One of the things I really, really like with Kula, let's hit the edit. Okay, so let's look up. As you can see, I don't let you look all the way up. And I don't let you look all the way down. I don't want you looking all the way up because that fuzzy thing up in the top of the sky. But in here, one of the things that I really like, number one, they've got an HDR tone mapping if you'd like to try that out. Not a super big fan of that. Ugh. And we'll go back. You can increase your sharpness. You can also add audio. So if you were doing a virtual tour walkthrough, you could do voice overlays on each scene. That's pretty cool. Zoom settings. You can also change how far in and how far out somebody can zoom. So maybe you're not using the best 360 camera in the world and you don't want them zooming all the way in because it's super, super pixelated. You can set that zoom limit and you can set the pitch limit. So there we go. I set the pitch limit to 90. So now we can look at, see, this is what DJI Go 4 app did for me in that 360. It filled that little top area. So I had the pitch limit set just so that I wouldn't go all the way up, but now I can go all the way down. So they give you some really decent flexibility in Kula. I'm not an affiliate or anything for them, so I'm not selling them. I don't get anything off of them. But after all of our testing, we really like Kula a lot. So that's the one that we decided to sign up for. So we did a year subscription with them, and we'll be using them more and more. And so let's say, if I tilt this up and then I slide that pitch limit thing, look, it slides it down for me. So if you do want to allow a little bit of tilting up, you can. And also it will give you a vertical alignment if you need to align the images vertically. Maybe they're a little off. Very cool, yeah. And you can try them out for free, so don't just sign up to them. Try out their free setup. But I have found, look at these edges in here. There's no pixelation. Let me go change the zoom settings really quick. I'm just going to let it zoom all the way in. So with a Insta360 1X or with the Theta SC2 that we've been testing, on the edges, you get all this pixelation. It doesn't look great. The center area looks great and it's sharp. But when you get onto these edges, it's really bad. And with the Mavic 2 Pro, I'm not having that issue. And when we're doing 360s with the Canon 7D, I'm not having that issue. So, I think it has a lot to do with sensor size. But so that zoom in there, it's very, very detailed. Now you can see, Jody is actually talking to the client and I'm finishing off the flight. We were just getting ready to bring it in. So he was just letting us know that he was leaving. So let's zoom that back out though. So there's my mega zoom out now. And let's go ahead and kill that pitch limit. So wow, way too much, way too distorted. But you can do it if you want to. But what I really like is that zoom in there and seeing that detail, that really, really sharp detail from that little drone. So very nice job. Also, I would recommend if you're playing with 360s on the drone and you have Litchi, try out Litchi's 360s as well. I'm pretty happy with those as well. Just for doing it really, really quick, the DJI Go 4 app and the Mavic 2 Pro work great. So there we go. All right, so there's that answer. What is the gimbal pitch to record? So when you set this up, CJ, on if you're doing the Mavic 2 Pro, and you go into their 360, their automated 360, you're not going to have to do anything. You go into the photo settings, you pick, instead of the single photo, you pick the 360 photo, and then you'll see this weird little globe thing as your shutter button. You hit that button, and the drone is going to automatically set the different gimbal tilts. So it'll do one that's part way up because it can't shoot straight up, but it does angle up a little bit, and then it does it, centered, and then it does another one down and another one down, then it turns itself and it goes through the same process again. So there's no additional settings that you need to do if you're doing the Go 4 app. If you're playing with Litchi, there are some additional settings where you can customize things. And if you'd like to see one of those later, let me know. I think I've got one way back on this YouTube channel, but I just look up 360 Litchi on the channel and maybe that would pop up. But if it doesn't, let me know, drop me a comment, and I can do one on using the Go 4 app, and I can do one on using Litchi as well, no problem. All right, so let me close that one out, and I'm going to leave the site. I'm not going to save those changes because they're up and live on my website. And so what I was saying before, so we're just about ready to launch. Well, I'm ready to launch the class, but I just have 2 videos that I want to do. Both of them are flight videos. Everything else for all the setups is done, but the flight videos with the temperatures and what I'm wanting to do and where I'm wanting to do it, one of the 3D models that I want to fly and show people how Ground Station Pro captures it is, of course, in the Granite Dells. It's in the high 90s this week and last week. Those rocks radiate a ton of heat off. So my best bet would be to go early in the morning, right? Well, early in the morning, I'm going to have a lot of shadows, and the 3D model is not going to look great. And students are going to say, well, I don't like how Ground Station Pro did it. Look at all that shadow and stuff, when in fact, it's just flying the wrong time of day. So either I need a super overcast day, or I need the temperatures to come down a little bit. But in the comments, let me know, launching the class with 2 missing flights and putting an explanation in there that the flights will be filled in later. Is that bad form? Or should I just hold off and wait till those 2 flights are done? Sometimes I get impatient. I want to start sharing this stuff with everybody. So there we go with that. So a lot of it's up here. I'm loading some more today that are already ready. When I'm done loading what I have, it's going to be about a 2-hour and 30-minute class. And when I get those 2 flights in, closer to 3 hours. So I'm all excited about this course, if you can't tell. Like I said, one of my most popular videos on channel to this day is my Intro to Ground Station Pro that I did last year. And I was still heavily learning it as well at the time. So I've become much more proficient with Ground Station Pro, and I really do like using it in certain circumstances. And one of the circumstances is what I showed you just a little while ago, that raw land site. When it comes to raw land sites and needing to get tax parcel information and boundaries just to set up my flights, Ground Station Pro is my go-to for those raw land sites right now. No 2 ways about it. That's my best tool for the raw land stuff. So yeah, let me know in the comments, and we'll go from there. But so I just wanted to show this one off to you guys since I was working on this morning. I said, why not share this and have folks come along? And, all of these customized pages that I'm doing for clients, be it construction, progression stuff, or other time-lapse things, whatever it is that we're doing, I'm really liking the web presentation because not every client is super tech savvy. And that's not picking on clients at all. We all have our skill sets. So if you can make the presentation super easy for the customer, they're going to remember that. They're going to appreciate that. And, when I talked to the client last night, sending the link over to him, I said to him, I did these 360s as well. And so he was pretty surprised and happy and appreciative. But I mean, it took very little additional time on my part to take those couple of 360s. Hey, it's a built-in function on one of my apps. So to do a little extra, to step a little above for your customers is a huge thing. They remember it, and you always get great comments back from them. So it didn't hurt me. It didn't take another hour of time to set up these 2 360 pianos with Kula and then embed them in the website. This was not a huge expense for my time. So why not do that little bit of extra? Well, all right, I'm going to get back to uploading a couple of things. And, let me see, I'm looking back over. I've seen it done with a placeholder on other classes on Udemy. Do you put logins for the clients? Normally, CJ, yeah, I do. I do put logins for the client sites. In the case of this one, this isn't him building his house or anything, because that's when I'd ask the question. Since there was a bunch of lots there, I thought it'd be interesting to present to folks and also to have in my own portfolio after. So we'll be linking this later on the AZ Drone site to let realtors see, hey, this is what they do for us. And who knows, maybe a realtor will stumble across this this video and look back at these these couple of properties and go, wow, we didn't do a great job with the images and giving people a feel for what these lots are like. And maybe we should call Rich. Well, I hope they call me. There are a couple other drone pilots in town, so they could call me or they could call somebody else. But all right, do you put the log? Yep. So agreed. But so normally my construction clients, when we're first talking about what we're doing, I say to them that I do online courses and I do YouTube work. And would you mind if I documented some of the work that I'm doing for you? One of my clients was super enthused about it. So when I was sitting down and talking with him about his property and what we were doing, I said to him, I would really like to use this property for 2 different courses that I'm putting together. And would you mind, I'm not going to tell people your address or anything, but I would like to show off the property and what we're doing. And he was completely and totally on board with it. And when I go out and do work for him, because we're still working together, he always asks me how the classes are going and, if people have gotten to see some of the changes on his property. And who are they going to call? That's true, Ray. By the way, I don't know if Matt's on here today, but I'm sure Matt will see this later. Man, you made me laugh. So the other day when I did the live stream, I was talking about one of our web clients that they didn't want to pay us full price because they were signed up to yachting classes. And so they had already spent all their money on yachting classes. Matt drops me a note on Monday. So he's another subscriber on here and on our Patreon as well. And Matt hit me with a PayPal. So thank you. That was really nice. Just a small donation. Nothing earth shattering, guys. But he said he would have sent more. But he had signed up for yachting classes. So I'm glad that somebody got a kick out of that on Monday, because we didn't really get a kick out of it while we were talking with those clients years ago. But we were pretty surprised that that someone would say, I can't really afford something right now because, I'm taking yachting classes and I'm buying a yacht. Sounds like a tight budget to me too. So, well, all right, everyone, I'm going to get back to work. I just wanted to share what I was doing today. And I said, it'd be fun just to do it as a live stream. It's not another video that I have to edit. I do have to say I do have fun with these live streams because I don't have to do all that heavy editing afterward, because everyone who's viewing this knows, hey, it's a live stream. Rich has got no net here. So it seems like folks cut me a little extra slack, and I appreciate that. All right. Back to work. I'm going to get back to the grind of loading more videos and waiting for my ever so slow network connection that's not supposed to be slow to get up about 8 more videos. Okay, everyone, have a great rest of your week. It's Wednesday. I hope it's going well. And I hope that you're getting some flights in, because I'm not getting too many in. So I think that's probably my only flight this week with the temperatures. Cross your fingers that we see some monsoons really soon. We'll see you in the next video. And, worst case scenario, it'll be next Monday for another live stream. Best case scenario is some other videos go up, or maybe it super cools off and I can go fly those 2 flights that I need to. We'll see you again soon. Let me look down. Very good. Have an awesome day. You too, CJ and Ray and Augustin and Jack. And thanks for stopping by, everybody. It's always appreciated. And I hope that the information here is useful to you. We'll see you again soon. And hit end there.